Okay.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know his teammates are cool with it? I'm just curious. Because the teammates didn't know about it until yesterday. Tyrod didn't know about it. And I mean, little fun fact, the last starting quarterback to be fined for missing mandatory minicamp unexcused was anybody? Aaron Rodgers.
Oh.
With the Green Bay Packers in 2021, which speaks to a couple things. One is it hasn't happened with any other starting quarterback in the last 3 years. And also Aaron, at least at that point in time, was sandwiched right between league MVP years, and he, not so subtly wanted more money. There was, rift with the organization. You get it. Even if you don't love it, it at least makes more sense. And this idea, like I have had to listen to people go on and blame Robert Saleh. I actually feel badly for Robert Saleh in this spot. There is no right answer here, which is clearly some people within the organization or teammates don't love this, or else you just call it excused. And if all of a sudden there's not going to be a fight, people are like, oh, there could be a fight with the union about it. No, there's not. The union is the one who tries to prevent people from getting fined. That wouldn't be a problem. It's like, oh, well, then Hassan Reddick might get mad. Hassan Reddick's not even really on the team yet. You're not worried about that. So someone thinks it's a big enough deal that Aaron Rodgers is reportedly on vacation rather than being at mandatory minicamp, which is why they're doing it publicly. And I really like and respect Mike Greenberg. But I had to listen to Mike Greenberg go on Aaron Rodgers' talk show of choice today and say that, quote, Aaron has done everything right up to this point. Huh? The Jets had to make contingencies in real time of what are we going to do if our quarterback runs for vice president. The Jets are not allowed to pick their own offensive coordinator because of this guy. And now they're not allowed to have the same minicamp that every other team in the league gets to have because he's on vacation. Wow. And we're saying that it's Robert Saleh's fault for what? For not lying about it? That's what we're saying, Brew, is that Robert Saleh should have lied. That he should have gotten up there and been like, guys, it's excused. Everyone's on the same page. It's fine. It's a personal matter for Aaron. No, he shouldn't have. And so I find the whole thing ludicrous.
You can see how uncomfortable Saleh is in these press conferences. I mean, I agree with you in that Saleh has done nothing wrong. Okay, he's the one that's got to get up here and put a nice face on this mess. Okay, now there's reporting coming out that Rodgers planned a trip during rehab, when he was rehabbing, and didn't know exactly when minicamp was going to be.
So what, you didn't want to get the change fee? It's like $500.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is legitimate reporting that is out there, and that it's not excused because you can't excuse a trip. That's what the reporting is out there. Now that, with all due respect to the reporters, sounds like spin.
Of course.
That sounds like spin. Because you're exactly right. First of all, Rodgers had an idea. I don't know if he knew they would have known the exact dates of the minicamp at that time, but he had an idea of when it takes place, right? Yeah. And even if it did conflict, like you said, you got enough money to change the it's 2 days.
Yeah,
you can change the trip. So this is
not a lot of flights into the greater New York City area.
There
is. Oh, okay, good point.
We had Ephraim Salam, who played 15 years in the league as an offensive lineman, on our show, The Odd Couple, last night. Right. Oh. And he said that if he were a veteran playing, and he said he believes the veterans are bothered by this.
Of course.
Now, the young kids who still look up to Aaron Rodgers, and maybe they're not. But the veterans are like, look, I had to come here and work for these 2 days. You going to be on vacation?
It's 2 days.
Look, I don't think it's going to ruin the way he played. If he has a bad year, it's not going to be because of this. If he has a great year, obviously this wouldn't matter. But it sets a bad tone. It makes you look hypocritical. Yes, and the veterans got it. They're men. I don't care how good you are. They're grown men.
Can I tell you, I understand that line of thinking, and Connor Hughes had this tweet. It's a long tweet, but I'll just focus on the bottom part. Rodgers missing these 2 days after being at every volunteer will have zero impact on what the Jets and Rodgers accomplished this.
Then why have it?
So I agree. Either A, why have it, and why we had Dusty make a list of all the quarterbacks that are at minicamp. So you can argue that it's not a huge deal, but to all of these guys who are busy and have other things to do.
Well, so Trevor's not there because
it's excused.
Right. Well, they excused a bunch of veterans in Jacksonville, but it's everyone. Jacksonville decided to make it more about young guys, and then it's every other starting quarterback.
And these guys are all there.
Yeah.
So if it's not going to affect the Jets, is it going to affect the Seahawks? Because Geno's there.
Right.
Everybody's there except you. So you can't tell me like the whole thing.
You can't be on vacation.
Can I throw out a theory?
You cannot be on vacation.
So one thing that people have wondered, Florio maybe most notably, but I tend to agree that it's a legitimate question. And one thing that ostensibly the Jets do deserve to be criticized for is that since all the reporting is they have known about this for quite some time, to not have this come out a month ago, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you say at some point during OTAs, yeah, you know, and by the way, you know, we know Aaron's not going to be able to be at minicamp, and then it's a story, but at least when minicamp's going on, people already know it. So here's the theory. They were hoping he'd change his mind.
Oh, that's a good take.
That the reason they had to wait until he actually didn't show up is the whole time it's been, we'd still love, Aaron, we'd love to have you. If there's anything we, you know what I mean? You want to use Woody's plane? Like, I'm not sure where you're, you know, we can, is there a way? Okay, we know you're not going to be there, but, you know, let's just see. You know, leave the door open. It's the only explanation as to why they didn't get ahead of it, was they were hoping that he would change his mind. And then minicamp opens, he hasn't, and now Robert Saleh has to be like two guys not here, the guy who didn't want us to trade for him unless we gave him a contract, and the quarterback who our entire offseason's been built around. So, right.
Can I tell you one other odd angle to this? Where is he?
He's somewhere on vacation.
Well, then just say the word vacation. You said the word event. We don't know what that means. Saleh seems like he knows, but he's not. Like, does he think, you know what? The New York media, I'm sure they're going to let this one lie. I'm sure this one's never going to come
The New York media, the Brew, you've been lecturing me for years about how tough those bullies of the back page are. Today, there wasn't a Rodgers question asked.
The back pages were good.
The back pages were good, but there were 3 Rodgers questions asked in a 12-minute press conference, and not one of them was, where is he?
Right.
What is the event?
That's
and now maybe Saleh would have said, I'm not saying
but you gotta ask.
But you have to ask it. Colin is reporting, and Colin, much like me, is like not a reporter, but when he reports something, it's basically always correct because he's not reporting very often. He said he's on an international vacation. That's what he said. And so I don't know if that's, if that's to Europe, South America. I don't know. There's a lot of countries you could be going to.
Good point.
No problem.
It makes sense.
But that's what he's saying. But it's absurd. It's
just 2 days.
Thank you.
And you have nothing to do till when?
You can expand your vacation on the back end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Also, Bruce taking vacation.
It's a terrible...
Okay, leave him alone. I knew that was going to come up. I knew that was going to come up. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.